Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite. Thank you so much for joining us today. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. You know, we always like to get information from the source. One of those great sources and somebody we're always welcome to have on the program, Philip Martin, Superintendent of Terrebonne Parish Schools. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Keith. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, people are kind of wondering how things are going. We all pass by these schools and kind of look and see, but give us a little bit of an update on the status of the parish, if you will, with regards to the schools.
Well, Keith, the schools are kind of a reflection of the community. We'll be in the repair, fix, and replace mode for years to come, literally.
Right.
But we've made significant progress. Much remains to be done. We know the schools that, because you can drive by and just see South Terrebonne, Ellender, Upper Little Caillou, and Grand Caillou Elementary. Very, very significant damages. Right. But we also have to mention that we have many schools. Evergreen has a whole wing it can't use. Mulberry has a wing it can't use. Bio Black Elementary can't use the cafeteria. So we have many schools that have, under normal times would be considered major problems, but they're kind of dwarfed by when you have catastrophic problems.
Right.
So just to know that we have a lot of issues that we're dealing with, and just like in the community, everybody's trying to get their house fixed. Mm-hmm. And finding the qualified people, finding materials is a challenge for them, and it's a challenge for us. Right. So we are dealing with those types of issues right now. The next things we're going to be doing, we were in a very quick, fast recovery mode, trying to get kids back in schools as soon as possible. And that's happened. All kids are back in school. We're going to make some adjustments on some of the initial preliminary temporary fixes.
Okay. And
moving to another temporary fix.
Okay.
Currently, Grand Caillou Elementary is shared between Dularge and Honduras. We are going to be moving the entire school into what was Elysian Fields temporarily.
Okay.
So they will all be back together again under one roof. We're going to be moving Upper Little Caillou into what used to be East Houma.
Oh, okay. And so able to use that building.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. We actually had that building leased, and,
right.
and we had a 30-day cancellation, so we gave them the 30-day, say, look, we need it. We need to house some kids. Those are both temporary fixes until their schools are either repaired and or replaced. And it's one thing to say we're going to move a school. It's easy to say that. The logistics involved with that,
right.
or
tremendous.
The infrastructure, the technology, just the desks, tables, chairs, teacher materials, moving school to school. This is the second time we'll be doing it this year, by the way.
Right, and parents getting kids to school, the busing options,
and the busing, all of those things are very, very significant and not an easy task. Let me put it that way.
Right. Well, and getting the buildings ready is kind of a small piece to that, but
that's probably the easiest piece, quite honestly.
Right.
Now, fortunately, Elysian Fields and East Houma had minor damage, I would call it.
Right.
And there is one modular at East Houma we will not be able to use.
Right.
But the rest of the school, with some sprucing up, cleaning up, and minor repairs, we'll be able to use. Again, it's temporary.
Right. It's
we don't
the
want
next
anybody
phase of
that's
temporary.
just their next. It's a little more permanent than perhaps they were in, sharing, being split into two places.
Right.
So I think those communities are going to appreciate that. And we certainly understand there's no perfect solution to a Cat 4 hurricane when you're dealing with all. There's nothing that's perfect. Everything has its plus and minuses, and we understand that. But we're doing the best we can do with the facilities that we have. Also, South Terrebonne and Ellender are shared with Terrebonne, Ellender shared with Terrebonne, South Terrebonne shared with HL. We are going to be releasing Friday a bid for temporary campuses at South Terrebonne and temporary campus at Ellender.
Oh my. Wow.
So they will be going back home to a temporary home, but on their home site.
Right, right.
Now, again, it's easy to say put a temporary campus. But the
Not easy to
logistics
do.
of that, forget the buildings for a moment. Just you got to have buildings there.
Right.
Just the infrastructure, sewage, water, electricity, walkways, covered paths, all of those things that have to go into that
Right.
is a very, very,
Challenging.
very challenging, a very major undertaking, but they have to be done.
Right. And it's got to be done safely, and it can't appear to be like a construction site.
Well, and you have to have, we have to have like 55 classrooms for each site. Well, that's quite an undertaking. Now, we've put that in the ASAP mode and have stipulated that in our RFP proposals.
Right.
That there are certain deadlines they have to be able to meet because we want to do that as quickly and rapidly as fast as we can.
Yeah.
We're currently platooning, and like I said earlier, everything has its ups and downs. If platooning was the perfect thing to do, we'd do it all the time.
Yeah.
It's not.
It just isn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't work for either of the schools.
No, but under the circumstances, it's pretty much what we're, what we're kind of limited to.
It's what we're forced to do.
And platooning is not the first time this has been done. We're not the first district to do it. It's been doing it in other districts as we speak.
Right.
But down the road, long-range plans, and again, I want to emphasize the temporary of all the things I just talked about, they're all temporary.
They're still temporary. They're going to have to be permanent for a little while, but a lot of work being done to make improvements to what's happening with the students, the teachers, the staff, and really trying to improve the quality of the education for the kids in the parish.
And Keith, I think what you said, the quality of education, is that we have to constantly be cognizant of the fact that our primary job and duty is to provide quality education for our kids.
Yeah.
With hurricanes, COVID, the economy that we were in, sometimes that gets lost and we begin to focus on things that are not, as a school system, our primary mission, our focus should be on quality education.
Yeah.
And what's the best delivery mechanism for that?
Right.
And it's easy to take your eye off the ball, so to speak, from coaching terminology, with all these other things going on. But we have to always, what's going to be the best scenario for our kids in terms of a quality education? Those are difficult decisions, and there's no perfect decision. Highlighting some things that I think most people probably would know is that in-person, face-to-face instruction is the best instruction known to mankind.
Yep.
Virtual is when you have to do it, fine. It doesn't compare
No.
to face-to-face, in-person. The notion of a 15-year-old sitting before a computer screen for 6 hours a day, who really thinks that's going to be as effective as a teacher there, guiding, directing, supporting, encouraging,
Didactic,
redirecting
interactive.
when needed?
Correct. Reeling them in.
Absolutely. So
Making sure that they're getting it.
Absolutely. So the data is very interesting in that last year, Louisiana, as most of the country, had substantial numbers of kids virtual.
Right.
And what's called the AB schedule. In other words, when they're not in school, they're virtual. And
Right.
flipping back and forth. That was a necessity in some places because of capacity issues. With COVID, you couldn't have more than so many kids in a room.
Right.
That didn't apply to us in Terrebonne Parish because we had small classes to begin with.
And we could separate.
And we could separate, so
Have
we did
distance.
not have to split and divide and use anything other than traditional school.
Right.
We did offer virtual, and initially we had a large number of kids, but it dwindled very rapidly back to the traditional side. Interesting, we make data-driven decisions. And data is facts. Sometimes we're inclined to make decisions based upon what we like and don't like.
Right.
Emotional. Which is the human side of all of us. But we always have to come back to what worked and what didn't work. As I was discussing something yesterday with staff, that I'm a firm believer if something is working, keep doing it. But I'm also a firm believer when something's not working, stop doing it.
Change it.
Change it. You know, I've never been a person who wants change just for the sake of change.
Right.
You know, if something's succeeding, working, tweak it, improve it, but
keep doing
you don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Sure.
But at the same time, when you're not getting the results you want, I think it was Einstein said, at least it's attributed to him, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again but expect different results, that's not real smart.
That's insanity.
That's insanity. That's been described as that. So highlighting the point that if you're doing something and it's not working, well, if you're going to keep doing that, it's going to keep not working.
That's correct.
We just received the simulated district performance score and school performance scores. Those results are embargoed until Friday.
Okay.
But I can say that last year, Terrebonne Parish, the state did a nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't.
No.
And I had someone call me and ask, Philip, what magic, what did y'all do in Terrebonne Parish? Y'all actually stayed the same and even got a little better. I said, there was no magic. We had school.
And we had kids present, and we had
school
present.
every day, every school, every grade. We had school with kids, with teachers every day. I said, if that's magic, that's what we did. Because the results are dramatic between the virtual kids and the in-person kids.
Yeah.
Test data is test data, and there is a very distinct disparity between the two groups of children. So, you know, it reinforced what we already knew. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone was shocked or surprised that in-person instruction is going to outperform a computer screen.
Yeah, but now you have the data and the scores
Well,
last year.
to back that up,
the
you know,
information
before we
that
had those feelings and attitudes, but now the data supports that a live, talented, dedicated teacher with the kid, 360 minutes a day, can't be beat.
And we have data and support to show that. And
That's
we
correct.
have some more information coming Friday. We look forward to sharing that.
Very good.
Those are the good. That's the good news that's come out of all of the challenges.
Yes.
Is that the kids are learning, and we're doing that at a high rate, and the data shows that.
With COVID-19 and the economy and everything, our kids held their own. They did very well. We're very proud of our kids and our teachers.
And our staff. Very good. Martin, thanks so much. We appreciate you coming on, Philip.
Very
We
good.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
being here.
All right. That'll do it for us for this segment. Don't go anywhere. A lot more Bayou Time when we continue.